Hello lovely people, I welcome you to another lesson, and in this lesson we are going to learn more about our fonts, how to manipulate data, how to format text in a sheet using the VBA. Now let's go to home, and when you go to home you can see this ribbon here, or this group tab group here named font. So under font, under this group, you have the font name here, the font size, you have the bold, italics, underlined, and others here. So today we are going to learn how to manipulate our data using this feature: the font name, the font size, then the font style, the size, the font name, and the font style. So that's what we are going to use. We are going to learn how to manipulate it using the VBA programming language. Okay, so let's go to our sheet, our VBA editor. Then, okay, this is our previous code, so we ignore all this code here, remaining the first one here, because okay, so here too you can change the name to font to correspond to what we are about to do. Okay, so we can equally create a new subroutine altogether, but because of course I don't want to waste much time on the video, that's why we are using the same one. We just delete and then use it. But what I want you to know is how we do it. So if you have any question, you just contact me and you just let me know so that we find a way to solve it for you. Okay, so now we want to manipulate a text. Before you need to manipulate a text, you need to have a text on your sheet. So this line of code will help us get the roots from in our sheet from A1 to A10. So if you run it, so let's try to run it and see, so that we have the roots there already. Okay, so now I go first of all start with what the font. So we select the range. So the range that we are going to select is range range A1 through to A10. That's the range we are going to format. Okay, so we are dealing with font. So you set the range, then bring your dot, then type fonts. Okay, so you have the font on the list, then you click on tab to select it for you. Then now we are going to first of all deal with the font name. Let's say from our sheet here, our font, this font, the name of our font is what? Is Calibri. But we want to change it to let me go and see. Okay, we want to change it to Times New Roman, or let me say let me use Arial for our new text. Arial, let's use Arial. So Arial, we are going to use to change the name so that it will change it for us. So let's go back to our sheets again, our VBA code, and we change the name of our font. That's the font name. So we type font, then add dot. The moment you add dot, you see that it will give you a list of activities or actions that you can perform with your font. So you have bold, you have color, you change the font color, you can change the font boldness, the font style, if you want it to be italics. But we are much interested now in the name. So you select your name, then you now indicate the name that you want to use. So it's a string. So yes, okay, then you close it. So that is the name we want to give to our string, our font. Okay, we can also equally change the boldness But one thing you must note here that boldness is either you select the boldness or you don't select it. So it is always true or false. So if your boldness value is true, that means your text will be bolded. But if it is false, that means there's no boldness. So with this, we just select your range, the range of cell that you want to bold. So equally, you can select just a single cell. So now let's try to select a single cell instead of range. Let's select a single cell. Let's select A3. Let's select A3 dot font. Then you want to bold this with dot bold. Okay, so equal to true. Good. Then we can equally use italics. You can use, if you want to underline, you can do it. You can do anything to the font based on the group that I showed you already, the bold, italics, and others. Okay, so let's also use range. Let's select another range and apply italics to it. So let's say I use A2, then dot font dot italics. Okay, so italic will also have a Boolean value, so it will be true. Okay, so that is what the font style. So we have dealt with the font name. We have continued the font name to any font name that you want. And the second one is the font style, either bold or italics. Then the next thing is what the font size. So the font size deal with numbers. So we can select the range. So let's say the range let's use A2 through to A5. Okay, that will be okay. Dot font, then dot size. So now the size is in value, is in number, is in integer. So just type the integer. Let's say you want it to be 40, just like that. Okay, so we are able to go through the font size. We start with the font name. We're able to change the font name by using the dot name. Change the font boldness to be true or false. Okay, let me add something here. Let me add this. Let me copy this line of code. I want to show you something. Then let's copy and then paste it just below this. Okay, then let's change this value to false. Okay, I want you to show something, so we do the same thing here. Let's copy this one and then we change this one to false. Okay, so I think this one is okay. Now we have the true or false. I want you to know the difference between how the true works and how the false works with the same cell reference. Okay, so now let's step into the code and see something. So now the first one will give us the value from A to 10 as the root, which has already been executed. So now the second line of code is telling that it will change the font from Calibri to Arial. So let's step into it and see the first. So now watch the text at that range here, and let's see that it will have some change, so that the font has changed to a different value, and you can check from here to see that there's a change here too. Okay, now let's go to the next one, which is what? Font boldness. The font boldness, we are going to select from A3. So only A3 will be bolded. So let's click on it. You see that only A3 is what's now bolded. Now let's continue to step into it. Now this line will go tell us that A3, now previously it was bolded, which is true. Now it is false, so it will remove the boldness. Okay, you see that now there's no boldness again. Now let's deal with the italics. Italics, A2 italic, then it will be forced again, the italic what will be removed. Okay, so now with the size, sorry, we made a mistake. We did not change the true. So if you change the true to false, so that we did not change the true, that's why the italic is still there. And we change to false, it would have been what? Out. Okay, now let's change the font size. The font size, we selected A2 to A5. So only A2 to A5 will have the font size as what? 40. So just click on it. See that the font size has changed. So this is how we deal with fonts in Excel VBA. So I want you to manipulate it. I want you to change the cell references, change the ranges and others, and then manipulate it. And if you find any problem, just let me know. So we end today's lesson here, and we continue in our next lesson.